Well, let's cross over to speak to Ruth Gledhill, who's assistant editor of the international Catholic journal, The Tablet. It's quite a historic day, what we saw today. Pope Francis presiding over the funeral of Pope Benedict. I just wonder, in terms of what this means, whether Pope Benedict can become a saint. We heard that there were calls for sainthood. How does it work with the Catholic Church?
There will be a cause set up, and they will promote the cause will move forward, and they'll look for two miracles, and I'm sure he will proceed to beatification and canonisation in due course. It won't be too soon, though. They don't like to really rush these things, and it has got much faster than it used to be, when it used to take many years. But I think it probably will happen, especially the part of his life when he was Pope, and then after he resigned. His holiness did really shine forth from him. I saw it myself at the Mass he celebrated for the beatification of Newman at Birmingham when he visited in 2010. And you felt this was a man who was luminous, really, with the Holy Spirit. And it was a very different man than the one that the world thought they knew from his time as prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, when he had the nickname as God's Rottweiler. It was a real turnaround in his reputation and how the world perceived him. And I think it's really wonderful that it's the second part of his life that we saw celebrated today in the funeral at the Vatican.
And when it comes to Pope Francis himself, we see him today. He did stand, but he is not very mobile at the moment. He does say that he's not Pope with his knee. He's in good spirits. But just in terms of Pope Francis, now we no longer have the two popes within the Vatican. For Pope Francis, a very solemn and a difficult experience today, and an unprecedented one.
Yes, now we can say that it does open the door for Francis to resign if he wished to. But he's a very different Pope to how Benedict was, and a very different style of papacy. And I would say that despite his health problems, which are not insignificant, that he is nevertheless very robust, especially mentally. And he's got a lot that he still wants to do. He wants to continue to reform the Vatican, especially the Vatican finances. And he's underway this synodal process. It is really a progression of the Second Vatican Council, and empowering the laity, empowering the women within the Church more than they have been before. So I think we will see him really wanting to continue and complete that process as much as he can. And, I think he kind of enjoys being Pope in a way that perhaps Benedict didn't so much. So although it does open the door for him to resign, and he has indicated that should his health demand it, he will resign, I think it's not necessarily going to happen, certainly in the immediate future.
Ruth Gledhill, assistant editor of The Tablet, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.